Hey, good afternoon. It's 5-Minute Fridays. I'm here in North Carolina at an Education Trust convening Equity Matters Boot Camp. We have 10 Kentuckians here with us, learning about issues in education around race and socioeconomic inequities, and making plans for when we come back home to increase the academic achievement of all of our students. So I'm here with Lynn Jennings, who's the Senior Director of Partnerships. Lynn, what are the goals and objectives of the boot camps? They've been going on for 2.5 years now. And what does the Education Trust hope to accomplish?
So we started these boot camps about 2 years ago when we had the new federal law, ESSA, and we wanted to work with state advocates across the country to think about implementing the law and how to make sure that equity stayed the focus as the law was getting implemented. Since then, what we focus on these boot camps is how to advance policy, how to advance policy that advances equity in states. We're working with about 13 states, and we also want to we have these convenings to make sure that, these convenings become an opportunity for people across the state to share strategies, talk about what are some of the challenges they might be having in their state as they're doing this work, and then also to celebrate the accomplishments.
Great. And for us, it's been a really terrific opportunity to bring folks from Kentucky with us, from the Urban Leagues, from the NAACP, from Teach for America Appalachia, a variety of other groups, Metro United Way. So it's been really helpful for us. As you look ahead, I guess, with the Education Trust, just share with us, the Education Trust has been around for years. Our founding executive director, Bob Sexton, and Katie Haycock, the founding executive director of the Education Trust, were close colleagues. Now the trust is under John King's leadership. What really is kind of the core work of the Education Trust, and what do you see on the horizon moving forward?
So I think one now that I think about it often as the next chapter for EdTrust, and one of our top priorities now is getting out of our DC bubble a little bit more and making sure that we're there to work with people who are doing this work on the ground level every day, from state, local, district to in the schools. And the data that we're able to do, the analysis we're able to do, some of the policy analysis we're able to do, give these organizations the support that they need to do this work. So that's what I see is really the core mission. Also, we often still spend time and think a lot about identifying where are the inequities in the system, shining light on those inequities. What is the data showing? And then what are we going to do to address it and the inequities and all the opportunity gaps that we see that's happening in our schools across the country.
And you're focusing not just on P-12, but also the early childhood space and the post-secondary space when you look at inequities.
Yes. I mean, and we're talking about it more as the whole education system continuum from P-12 all the way through higher ed. And so when we're able to talk to people like you, and we can say we started with P-12, but now let's see what's happening when you're doing higher ed. What's happening in the state in terms of degree attainment? Are Black students, Latino students getting college degrees at the same rate as other students who are fluent students or white students? And if they're not, what is the reason why they're not? And then how can we address and come up with solutions for solving that?
Yeah, great. And we know we need to get kids off to the right start, and we need to ensure that they not only graduate from high school, but they attain a degree or certificate to really be successful for the future.
That's right.
So as you look at changes, you've been with the Education Trust for a while, and you look at changes over time. What are some of the successes you feel we can underscore and challenges you see on the horizon for all of us?
So I think some of the big successes, two come to mind. One, and what I think about the attention that we've been able to bring to some of these issues. I'm thinking about the issues from higher ed, what's happening to students who are going into schools and colleges that are leaving them with a lot of debt and a worthless degree, right? In K through 12, what has happened in making sure that we have policymakers and decision makers responsible and for historically underserved students, so students of color, students from low-income families, English learners. So what does it mean? Like, what are the standards? Are the standards the same for all of those students? Are we looking at their achievement at the same level? What happens in the school where it looks pretty good, but then when you look under the data, you'll see that certain students are not getting served well, and bringing that to light. And then again, a newer initiative for us is the early childhood ed space, and we're looking a lot in terms of where are the inequities there. And what we see is that what happens, who has access to early childhood ed, but not just that, who has quality, access to a quality program.
That's right. Quality is so important. Absolutely. Well, we have been longtime partners and longtime fans of the Education Trust. We can't do our work without you. The resources you provide are so important for individual states. So thank you for all of your good work, Lynn. And we look forward to the work on the horizon with you. And in Kentucky, we look forward to developing a really strong equity agenda, early childhood through post-secondary, that ensures we now move from the middle of the national rankings to the top tier of all states. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.